Alright guys, welcome back to a not so fun and interesting Tech in the Classroom with Mr. Beck. What we're going to go over today is assessments. And I'm going to share with you the two assessments that I have found. Uh, One that benefits the teacher and also the students. So for the students, they really enjoy doing Kahoots, which I have up here on the screen now. And what they like about it is that it kind of gives them a game type feeling, and they like to try to be the one that answers the questions the most and the quickest. Uh, but it's a really good summative assessment for our students. It helps us, and the way we used it this year so far is that we used it to help us understand uh, how much knowledge they had of cells before we gave them the test, and then that way we knew, uh, we kind of got an insight on how they were going to do with their test, uh, and if we needed to go over anything else before they ended up having to take the test. Which, in good news, is all of our students did really well in the Kahoot. They all had a lot of fun, and they also did a really good job answering the questions, and uh, they all did really well on the test as well. But from Kahoot, uh, we went in and we went to Microsoft Forms, which is what we used for the formative assessment, and we took questions off the formative assessment and put them into the Kahoot. Uh, so that way we could really gauge on how well they were probably going to do on the test. Uh, One good thing about Microsoft Forms is that with Microsoft Forms, after the students are done taking the test, it will actually print it out in an Excel spreadsheet and break it down by uh, questions and students. So the students will be like on the left hand side, and then it will break down every question and how they answered it and if they got it right or wrong. Uh, which is really great because sometimes we just want to know if one of our questions is just way out of line or if we need to throw it out or anything like that. Uh, but as you can see, it sets it up here and it automatically grades it for us. But on this assessment that we use for a formative assessment, question 13 here we left open ended, and if any student answered question 13 correctly, then they would automatically get a 4 on the SRG or SGR, the standard grading rubric. Uh, because then that showed us that they knew what they were talking about and understood the material and could teach it to someone else, which is a great thing. And it gives us even with Microsoft Forms, it even prints this answer out. No matter how much they type in it, it will print it out at or on the form when we print it out and put it in an Excel spreadsheet form to figure out how to give students their grades. Uh, But with most of these, if it's true or false, then it will put it in here that if it's true or false, and then let you know when the students take their test. Uh, Other than that, I would suggest that everybody try to use Kahoots or Microsoft Forms to give their assessments throughout the year, or even just to change it up a little bit. Kahoots is a great way for students to get involved and have fun learning. Plus, they can also, if you make it public with Kahoots, you can actually go through and they can actually go back and they can even study on their own time, which is what some of our students actually did. Uh, so that concludes our assessment tutorial, and I hope you guys found it interesting. But also, hopefully, I gave you a little bit more information than you kind of know on your own. Uh, so that concludes our assessment training. Thanks.